Hello, everyone, and New Year, new BizTalk, or for many of us, New Year, new me. And what is a better way to start New Year, new me than starting your own startups? And if we come to that, there is a topic that you can learn quite a lot about from business angels, and that's exactly what we'll be talking about tonight. And there are amazing speakers with me tonight that will share a lot of knowledge. And if you have any questions aside of those that I will ask, please be free to drop them in the comment and we will ask them at the end. But without further ado, there are with me Joanna and Dominik from COBIN Angels. And as you know, I don't like to speak for my speakers, so I will let them introduce themselves better. Please.
Hi everyone. Thank you for the welcome and introduction, Adrian. My name is Joanna, as you already said, and I work for COBIN Angels, which is the biggest professional business angels club here in Poland. What else should we say about us? We work mainly with business angels here, but also with startups, and I hope we can share some of the experience and insight that we've learned from them along the way.
Yeah. So my name is Dominik. I'm a head of advisory in COBIN Angels, so I'm mainly responsible for the advisory on behalf of the startups and also for the operational aspects of the company. Earlier, I was involved in the consulting projects in a consulting company like PricewaterhouseCoopers, where I was also involved in the advisory projects on behalf of the startups. I was also running the corporate accelerator on behalf of the PLUGin. So my path is connected with the consulting and startup mix.
Thank you. That sounds awesome. And without further ado, let's jump right into the topic. So I'm pretty sure a lot of our listeners know quite a lot about startups and angel investments and VC as well. But like for all of those that are brand new to the topics, let's start with a little bit 101. So can you please tell us who are exactly business angels and how they can help startups in growing at that early stage?
Sure. So the business angel is the private individual who we can also call them high net worth individual because they're supposed to have the capital, and this person needs to have a will to invest in the high risk let's say businesses. So they are early businesses that they are wanted to invest in. So they have to know about the risk and the gains, potential gains. Those people comes with a variety of backgrounds. So we have in our club people from the corporate world. So they are mostly the partners or the top managers from the corporates. We also see the entrepreneurs. So this is the second group of the potential business angels. So they can they already sold the company, or they are running still company or a couple of companies, and we want to diversify. And there is a third group, which they are IT guys or the guys from technological companies. This is the group that is, let's say, rising right now in Poland. However, let's say in the United States, mostly this is probably the biggest group and the most influential group of the business angels. What else? Business angels are investing in really early stage, so they are supporting the startups that have MVP or startups that already are on the market, however, they are only really early stage. They're investing in Poland mostly about a couple of 100,000 zloty per round. Yeah.
I think what's worth adding is like to distinguish a business angel from anyone else, you need to have those two characteristics, which is this is an individual who's investing his own or her own money, and that's one thing. So it's you can have someone who could be a business angel, but they're actually investing in a fund and going through different levels of this. So this is not the kind of person we're talking about. This is someone who takes, money from their own account and gives it to a startup. And then I think what's very important is this experience that they bring on board. Dominik very well made this point that they usually have a lot of professional experience, whether they are C-level managers, entrepreneurs, directors, CEOs, or so on, or other professionals. It can be, lawyers, or sometimes even doctors who, if they have the funds, they can invest in medtech and so on. And then they take this experience, this knowledge, the networks that they have, and they use it to help build the companies that they invest in. And we will be talking a lot about the Polish ecosystem, because obviously this is the one that we are most connected to, and we see a lot about what's going on in here. And this sector is very much growing right now, but it's still in its early stages. But if you compare it to, let's say, the UK, the US, and so on, then this is a very well established practice that if you had some level of professional success, if you have the funds that you can spend on it, then instead of buying, more property or another car, you might think about investing into something that's definitely high risk, but also high reward. And I don't think it means only reward in terms of finance, which the risk is high, but it can bring quite a lot. But also there's, like, from what we hear, a lot of it comes from the motivation of the kind of, let's say, how much they appreciate working with dynamic, innovative people who are really bringing this change forward. And this is, I think, very, very important as well, that this is an alternative to the professional career that they have, or even a new career path that business angels take when they want to change from something that they know very well and dive deep into something that's exciting and new and risky, but also very, very interesting.
That's an awesome answer. I gotta admit that you probably answered already my follow-up questions about the competencies and all the experience that business angels should have. So I can jump straight to that topic. It's probably most interesting for the founders. So how founders could approach business angels, so where they could find them, and maybe what they should prepare straight away for them. Is it like a page presentation or some financial models for the idea that they're working on?
Well, I recently heard someone say that they think good business angels are like unicorns, which I don't think is very true. But certainly it's not as easy to find a business angel as it is, let's say, a VC fund or using a funding platform or something like this. Well, our answer is quite obvious, since we are a business angel club, and you can simply go to our website and upload your pitch. And we are not the only business angels club, obviously. The way we work is we gather business angels who are either beginning or already established within this sphere, but they do not feel the need to do the entire work by themselves. So they work with us, we provide them the deal flow, the startups, and so on. They get to choose every month from different projects that we present. And it also gives them the advantage of being able to invest in groups. So the first and obvious answer is find us and send your pitch.
Yes, exactly. Another thing is that the business angels, some of them want to stay private, so it's not as easy as finding VC. It's quite hard to find the business angels. Some of them, like, let's say they are professional business angels, so they are like showing on the LinkedIn that they are angels, or they are attending the conferences. However, we could say most of them are the secret angels. IBAN, like the European Business Angel Network, estimates that 10% is only the visible on the market, the business angel visible on the market. The other 90% is the business angels that are hidden. So it's not so easy to find them. That's why, as Sasha mentioned, there is a business angel network. where we gather more than 50 angels. So accessing us, you have the access to more than 50 business angels at one time. So it's quite a good opportunity for the startups to have a chance to get the investment. Definitely, they have to have prepared a presentation, so the pitch deck in correct order and correct standard. There is a big competition, let's say, in our network, because every month, like doing it in the monthly cycles. So every month we are collecting deal flows, so collecting the startup, the applications. So every month we have like up to 100 applications from the startups. So we are selecting from this kind of amount only 6 of them, when the board of our network is choosing only 3 of them, and the 3 of them have the chance to present themselves in front of the investors. So the competition is high. That's why you have to be prepared. You have to have prepared probably a business model, maybe some financial model if you are already on the market, so you can show the numbers and some projections. Yeah, and basically that's the thing that you should approach to us. That these documents later on, there are some discussions, individual discussions with our angels and with us, and we proceed with the transaction if the both sides willing to.
I think one more element that's worth remembering, that business angels, private investors, they are not VC funds. They are not, it's not just math. It's individual people who are making decisions based on their own subjective way of who do they want to work with, who do they want to trustworthy, what is the kind of business they are interested in. We see it a lot that people who, let's say, are into working or build their own pharmaceutical companies, they will be interested in health tech or med tech because they already understand the market, and they make this decision because they know they can bring value and can make a better decision. So even it's worth remembering that even if you have the perfect startup and the perfect pitch, you're not dealing with a machine, some sort of AI-based software that's counting whether or not you will bring returns. It's people that you are working with. So if they find the founder relatable, or if they believe their story, there's a much higher chance that they will want to work with them. And if you have a group of 50 up to 100 angels, then it really is dependent on their individual views and what they are looking for and who they want to work with.
Yeah, and one thing more, which is different to the VC. Basically, the angel has to like the startup and the founders, and he has to believe in them. And it's especially important in the angel investing because eventually, with the transaction proceeds, the business angel will cooperate with the founder, and they will cooperate with themselves and working together. So it's really important the human factor between those two sides.
Yeah, thank you. And as you mentioned, COBIN Angels already, and we highly encourage everyone who's listening to send their ideas and presentation. But you also mentioned about that experience that a lot of business angels has in the field. So can you tell me, like from your experience, does every good entrepreneur or a person with a lot of experience in particular field will be a good business angel if they try to be one?
Not all of them, however, from my point of view, the entrepreneurs are quite close to the startups. Nevertheless, they be from the traditional business. They know how the business is operating. However, there is a big difference in a startup and the traditional business, and that could be also the disadvantage because when the business owner looks pretty much on the different factors and metrics. Let's say business owner looks at the net profit. However, in the startup world, you're not looking at net profit. You're looking at the MRR, the revenue, the churn, and so on. The metrics that matter for the startups, not from the traditional business. They also have to have the knowledge how the ecosystem works and how the startups works. Yeah, definitely. They have to feel how the startup, where they are going, because it's really different from the traditional business. So they have to know what are their goals and how to achieve them. And it's quite different.
Not all skills are transferable, I would say. If you worked in in the corporate world and you had all the funds that you could and all the resources that you could ever want and had very advanced tools, then there's a big chance you will not be able to use them if you have a team in a startup of 10 people and so on, and they simply do not have the need or the resources to have those things. So you need to understand the different dynamic and the sort of different way of operating. So I would say that you need to prepare. It's not like you can simply jump from running your own huge company to helping run a startup. And whether you should be helping run it or not, that's, I think, another conversation that we can also go into. So there is, I would say, like an amount of knowledge and skills that you need to very quickly get to be a good business angel. The kind that is supportive to the founders, that gives them the help and the resources they need, but doesn't try to run the company in their place. I think one of the most interesting sentences about this I heard from a business angel is to know when not to interfere and when to take a step back. Because if you're investing your own funds, you are also investing, your own dedication and your own feelings and time, and you really want something to succeed. But you must remember that you are just the investor, not the funder, which means that you need to let the people who are running the company run it, but be available to them when they need, your help and simply answer the phone. We are also, as COBIN Angels, working on education. We will be announcing some new initiatives on this topic very, very soon, because we see that there's this gap in terms of knowledge and understanding, that it's not enough that you're an experienced manager or business owner. You need to know a bit more to be able to be really helpful and really valuable as a business angel.
Yeah, thank you very much. So now is the time. So, please, can you tell us more about how Business Angels Clubs works? And as you mentioned, you work also on education in COBIN Angels. So if you can expand a little bit on all of those initiatives that you work as, besides gathering all those business angels and showing them the best pitches, that would be great.
Um, so the Business Angel Club, Business Angel Network works from the both groups. Like on the one hand, we have the investors, so we are gathering the investors who are willing to invest in the startups. On the other hand, we are making all the operational aspects on behalf of the startups and working with the startups and being in the market. So we are providing the startups to the investors and also making all the necessary activities that are involved in the investing in the startups. So we are let's say doing the work that the private investor should be doing if they will be doing it by themselves. So we take the huge weight from them to help them invest and so on. First of all, we acquired at the startups the application, so it's pretty hard because you have to be on the market, you have to have a brand on the market, so that the startups will know that you invest in the startups. Second of all, we make the analysis. As I said earlier, we have up to 100 applications every month, so we make all the analysis needed to show only the 6 of them, the best ones, to our investors. Then, of course, we're showing them to the investors. However, later on, we help to proceed with the all transaction aspects. This is also important because, as I mentioned earlier, startups, angel investing is on the really early stage. So those investments which we do are up to a couple of million zlotych, and we need to gather more investors than only one. So it's important to be in the Business Angel Network because you have a chance to co-invest with other angels or and VCs. And when you will be doing it by yourselves, it will be really hard. You have to have a really good network to gather all the investors into this round and to proceed with that. Because that's, from my point of view, also really valuable. So as I said, time, network, deal flow, of course, yeah. That's the thing that we provide to our investors and for the startups. Also, there are some other aspects like the community aspects of the investor, because we are not only the club that showing the startups to the investors and that's it. We are also the community that the people who are involved in our club, they know each other, they have some mutual interest in being in the club and so on. So it's more of a club, not only a network of professional investors.
And adding to this, because I already started mentioning education, and definitely the community aspect here is very, very important. So we know that our investors and our club members are sharing a lot more between one another than just their experience with startups. So we know that a lot of them are taking advantage of the people they meet and what they can do together apart from investing in the startups. But the knowledge sharing that goes between them is very, very important. And we also contribute to this to make sure that we are passing on the best practices and the best way that you can invest as an angel, because we know that it's not very well understood and it's very easy to basically cycle your startup at the very beginning because you want to see returns very, very early. For example, this is one of the mistakes that can be done rather than helping it grow. So education internally is one thing, but we are preparing to go outside with education as well. What we see a lot, at least in Poland, is that people do not understand who business angels are and how they can contribute to their own ideas, their own startups, but to the ecosystem as a whole. I cannot say all the details yet, but look out for the Business Angel Revolution hashtag, and there's more information coming from us soon. So our first plug during the PLUGin BizTalks. Other than that, as I said, the sort of educational promotional aspect is very important for us. So we are running right now the 4th edition of the Business Angel of the Year competition. It is focused on the Polish market. I know that we have viewers from all over, but it's not limited in a sense that Polish business angel often invests abroad, and at the same time we're getting investment from the outside, and even trying to decide where a startup is from is quite difficult. And the competition basically seeks to reward the best private investors. This time in 4 categories. We have the Business Angel of the Year, which is the sort of obvious one. And we are looking at many aspects, because this is not just about, getting the unicorn and having the best returns. We are talking to startups as well to see if people are truly contributing, if they are, the helping hands that the founders need. We have the Debutant of the Year category for the first-time investor. And we're looking at it yearly, so we are going to award them for 2021. Then we have the Ecosystem Award, which is something that actually all of you can vote for right now. So on our website, COBINAngels.com, you will find a whole article where you will find the information about the 7 finalists. And these people are special because they are not just investors. They are mentors, they are educators, they are people who are running different initiatives that are trying to spread knowledge, spread understanding, and basically help this ecosystem grow. So we thought that it makes sense to add this category basically to show that we care about the ecosystem and we understand that there are a lot of different stakeholders within it that help it grow. And the last one, for the first time this year, we have also an award for the venture capital funds venture award, and this one we are awarding to the funds that are co-investing with business angels. And this is something very, very common. As I said, and as Dominik said before, angels can invest in groups, but often if especially if this is a later round, it makes sense for them to do it together with a VC fund. And then, of course, it's not easy if you have so many different people on board trying to both invest and then help the company grow. So being, practicing ethical, good ways of doing this is very, very important, and we want to reward this too. So apart from the core, I would say that Dominik mentioned, which is simply deal flow and bringing the best investment opportunities to our angels, we have the community, we have the education, which is coming, and we have the Business Angel of the Year competition, which is happening right now. We will have our hybrid gala, so everyone is highly encouraged to join us then on the 15th of February, and then you will be able to learn who won all the four categories. And right now you can vote for the Ecosystem Award and for the Venture Award on our website, and of course learn more about the finalists. And it's a strong group. I mean, I'm not sure if you agree with me, Dominik, but I'm really curious as to see who's going to win. And it's not an easy choice this year.
Awesome. My follow-up question was about the contest, but I guess we know already everything, and we will definitely share on our social media information where you can vote, because I'm really excited to find out who will win that as well. But based on what you said about that analysis that you prepare for the Angels, I have like a follow-up question on that, as a person who's working on my idea. I know that like startups basically change almost every month. So sometimes the presentation that you get 1 month in 2 months might not be relevant, because so many things have changed. Do you provide any feedback back to the founders to show them which areas are not good enough, or they need to improve before they will be able to speak or present to your business angels?
Yeah, definitely. We're sending the feedback for all the startups that are applying to us. And the reason why we are rejecting some of them or most of them are not only the reasons that they are not good. Sometimes they are like too early, sometimes they are too late. So for those who are too early, let's say, we are saying that they can apply in a couple of months, let's say. So we are in touch with all the startups, and the feedback that we are giving is a constructive feedback. Maybe not what they need to change in their company, but about the investment and their readiness for the investment. Another thing is that sometimes we don't feel that this kind of startup fits to our investor, because we know them, we know what they are interested in. So sometimes the rejections are due to this fact. However, we also, let's say, cooperate with other VCs and investment funds. So we are like make the introductions for them, or even helping them as advisory projects to acquire the rounds or outside of the Poland. Yeah.
Yeah, and even for some of the startups that were rejected, for example, they presented in front of the entire club. Going through this experience can be, a learning process as well, because our angels, they are the people with the money, and they are the people with the experience. So the questions that they ask and the doubts that they may have, they are something that it's worthwhile addressing when you're running your startup and when you're thinking on how to improve it. At the same time, I think we both spoke about it, that you need to remember that these are individual people. So there's a chance that your idea is really, really great. They will say no to this because it's not a good fit for them, but that doesn't mean that you will not, find the funding elsewhere for a VC fund or, another way, and then have a successful company. So this is a very specific way of finding funding, and then a specific way of working with your investors that may not be the best for everyone. But for those who find like this good fit, it's definitely something that helps them along the way very, very strongly.
Thank you, Joanna. That answer is probably the best segue for my next question. So it is about the institutional investors or VCs. How does it work with business angel? Is it the competition? Is it like a tough friendship? Do you often fight for the best deals?
I mean, it can be all of those kind of.
I would say we are not the competition. As I mentioned, we mostly cooperate with the VCs, and we not compete with them. First of all, because the rounds are different, and we are the addition to investment many times. So the fund is giving the more money. We are giving a little bit less. However, we are giving also the value proposition from the business angels. So definitely we are not the competition for them. Even I would say that we partnering with them, and many times we are co-investing with them. And I see that a lot of startups right now, which is in our deal flow and which we are showing to the investors, have already the VC fund committed on some level, and they are looking for the business angel in order to get these other values that the business angels are proposing. So from that point, like definitely, I would say that we are not a competition.
I would call it competition only in the sense that everyone is looking for the next unicorn, the next best thing that's coming. So of course, if it's a very very promising startup, then they are going to be able to choose the kind of investors that they want, and they will choose between VCs and angels and so on. But what we see, and as I mentioned, it's mostly cooperation. And in Poland, the Polish Development Fund has a program for VC funds that are basically getting money only if they are investing half with angels. So there's also some formal requirements where you have investments where you have to have both. European Investment Bank is doing the same with their business angel program. So basically, they require investments from both, because they offer VCs and angels. They offer a slightly different thing. It's both can be called smart money, but this personal touch and personal experience of angels can be what makes the difference.
Okay. Thank you very much. And it's time for bragging a little bit. So, can you tell us which investments or which help that you gave to the startups and business angels you are the most proud of, or like that can be like your personal choice or something that COBIN Angels as a club is most proud about?
I would say that we are proud about our new projects because they are really important in the stage as we are right now in the Polish market. So the educational aspects are really important right now because the Polish market is just at the very beginning. So we will build a really good educational community, which is a really important thing to develop the business angel system in our country. Second of all, I would say that we are proud that we are the biggest in Poland and one of the biggest in the region clubs, so plus 50 investors, and recently we
Big
saw
network of co-investors. So
sure, yeah, of course, but recently we also see a lot of people interested into investing and joining clubs. So and it will be grow and grow because the numbers are from the market shows that it will be huge soon.
I'm not sure if we can, say name names or anything like this, but there are several people working with us who went from being a founder to a business angel. And, in the US, that's a very natural progression, but here in Poland, it's still quite broad. So being able to work with someone who was able to build their own startup and make it work and make it, a good running company, and then understand how they can use this experience to help someone else, and us being there as an element of this. This is a very, I think, rewarding feeling. And another thing is we work with several people who are members of our club who they were either CEOs of big corporates or they were running their own companies, and then they decided to take this leap and make this career switch to being full-time business angels, as strange as it sounds. And being with them and supporting them along this way, that's also something I enjoy very much. And seeing basically them succeed and be able to say, it's almost a unicorn, or they managed to expand this new market, that's really great.
Awesome. I still have two more questions, but there is something that Dominik mentioned in his answer, that Polish ecosystem at the very beginning. So can you tell us a little bit how that business angel ecosystem in Poland looked a few years ago, and what do you expect it to be in the next, let's say, 3 to 5 years?
Sure. So we are still in the very beginning. So a couple of years ago, probably there was only a few people that invest in the startups. Right now, Ivan, as I mentioned, European Business Angel Network estimates that in 2019 was about 500 business angels in Poland, which are the only estimates. And I think that there is a lot of more because we received more than about 200 applications for our business angel of the year competition. So from that, we see that the market is definitely bigger, and it will be bigger soon because there will be a lot of more high net worth individual in Poland. There was a report of Credit Suisse, the Wealth Report, which says that in 2020, I guess there was 150,000 people who are dollar millionaires. However, this number will double in the next 5 years. So we're expecting to have 300,000 dollar millionaires in Poland, which is the biggest growth in probably globally, because they were analyzing about 450 countries. So that's the numbers that are important for us and to look on when we are looking at our business. Also, which is important, that the Polish market, the investment from the VCs are growing today. I'm not sure if you saw it, but the Polish Development Fund published the report, which says that the investments in 2021, the amount of the investments was equal to the investments in the previous 2 years. So we can say that we almost doubled year by year now the volume of the investment. Another thing, the Polish market is right now more and more interesting for the foreign investors. So we see a lot of mega rounds in Poland, and also the funds that they are established in Poland from abroad, or they are interested into investing in Polish startups. So these all factors will be influencing the market soon.
I think our ambition when it comes to how the market should grow is to also change this approach to investment. So to make people understand that there are more options than real estate or stock market or just a new car, right? That there is this sort of new alternative path that you can take, and we understand how hard it is to quantify a market like this, because you are always going to have people who will simply not say that they are investing as angels and would prefer to stay anonymous, and this is fine. But also it's hard to decide who is a business angel or not. There are no clear definitions, because let's say someone does pre-investments in a year and then they stop because they are simply working with their portfolio companies. So are they still business angels or not? So what we hope for is definitely growing awareness and more people choosing this path. And then of course the let's say, better quality of cooperation between founders and business angels, and building those relationships that help startups grow and basically benefit everyone involved.
Thank you, thank you. And now time for the last question. That's something that just came up to my mind. So with all of that knowledge and experience you have, do you have any favorite materials or learning resources that you could share with our listeners? Either is it a book or something e-learning that they can read or listen to and learn a little bit more about that ecosystem and investing as in general?
There is only one good answer. So it's go ahead.
It's once again us saying, give us a little more time to, announce the full scope of the business angel revolution that we're hoping will spread all over the country. And soon we will have, all the resources published.
I'm not sure you said what it's about, so maybe
It's
I'll
just-
tell a bit more
Yeah.
what it's about, because we created the educational platform, which will launch probably next month. So there's 5 modules, from the very basic information about the ecosystem and how it works and so on, to the, let's say, evaluations, negotiations, or term sheet. So this is a compendium of knowledge for the people who want to start investing, but also for the startups who want to understand what is important for the investors. So this platform will launch soon, and on top of that, we're planning to build a community where we'll be sharing knowledge and news from the market, but also the education strictly on the business angel revolution.
Thank you very much. You all heard that. You all heard the hashtag. So you can find it online, and yeah, that next month looks pretty amazing. Like the final of your contest plus the launch of the platform. So we will be definitely looking very closely at that, and there will be plenty of opportunities to learn all about investment and being a business angel, both for both sides of the table. So that's really awesome. I would like to thank you very much for your time and all those awesome answers. And if you have any final words, please, now it's your time.
I have to say, vote for the Ecosystem Award and the Venture Award first and foremost, and then join us for the hybrid gala for the Business Angel of the Year 2021 on 15th of February, because it's not just learning through one, but also we will have some interesting discussions for anyone who's into investment and startups and business angels and impact investing. So we have quite a few topics that we want to cover and encourage everyone to basically be part of this ecosystem, either build your own companies or think about investing, and follow us with what we're doing, because we hope to provide a lot of content that will help push this idea along.
Yeah, and if any startup is interested in smart money, which will not only gain the capital, but also the knowledge, the network, and so on from the business angel that we are cooperating with, you are welcome to apply to us, and all the investors that want to invest professionally or to be more exposed and to get to know more startups are also welcome to join our club and join our discussion.
Thank you very much for that, and I hope a lot of people will join for that gala and will watch all those talks, and they will learn who was the best business angel of the year in Poland. So thank you all very much for listening, and thank you both you, Joanna and Dominik, for your answers. That was an absolute pleasure to listen to you, and I learned a lot, and I hope our listeners learned a lot as well. And I think it's only good to say that like this BizTalk is finishing, but obviously next month we will have another one, and there will be another amazing topic that we already chose and we're working on very passionately. So hopefully I will see you all next month. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, everyone.